Syracuse opened the fall, dropping 2 of its first 3 games. But tonight, the Orange have an opportunity to win 3 straight for the first time this season. They've got to get through the Kansas University Jayhawks first, who stand an equal 4-3 to Syracuse. Welcome into Monday Night Rocket League. I'm Rowan Mastrangelo, joined by Simon Johnstone. Simon, it's going to be a good one tonight. We've got 2 teams of pretty equal caliber. One of the first times Syracuse hasn't taken a foe that's either upper echelon or sort of at the bottom of the pack.
Yeah, at the start of the season, they've had good tests with the top of the league, like you said, as well as the bottom. They've taken care of business when they've needed to, but when it comes to those middle-of-the-pack matchups where they sit in conference right now, tonight's a really good test for them.
Kansas, like we mentioned before, sitting 4-3 on the year, and Syracuse on a winning streak. One of 2 this year. Was on a 2-game skid about a month ago and then dropped a game, but now is back in the winning column. Started with a win against Minnesota, and then just 2 weeks ago, before the bye, it was a 3-0 sweep over Nebraska. Syracuse took that one handedly all 3 games. It was a great all-team performance from the Orange.
Yeah, Syracuse have looked really good as of recently. They've done phenomenally, like you said, against Nebraska. Have really taken care of business. Some good wins. Their second game did go into overtime. Each win with a 1-goal margin, but Lesser, definitely the star of the show, really took care of business in the scoring output.
Absolutely. Lesser, with a slow start to PEC play, was kind of lifted up by his teammates Gababy and Tiz, but through that Nebraska series, led the team with 7 goals. The only person to come closer was Tiz with 3. So doubled his teammates. I mean, such offensive dominance from him. And that's kind of what we expected coming into the year. We were talking with Joey Garisiak, the director of Syracuse Esports, and when he was talking about Lesser, one of the 2 new freshmen on this roster, he described him as a maverick. Someone that can go in and make a difference. It's exactly what he did.
Yeah, Lesser, one of those high-rated players, ranked at the very top in the SSL Supersonic Legend ranking. He's also someone who's super mechanical, can do it on his own, so he'll be really able to critically perform well in those individual moments as well as work with his teammates.
Absolutely. A really good percentage of Lesser's goals are unassisted by his teammates, Gababy and Tiz, who you see on screen. Tiz joining Lesser as one of the 2 freshmen on the Syracuse roster, and Gababy the only returner, the captain of this Rocket League roster. But as of late, like we said, it's been Lesser. He's flying through the air, mechanical wizard, like you said. But his teammates also doing a really nice job highlighting him. Gababy and Tiz really crushing it in the assist department. Gababy sits as 27 with Lesser and Tiz having just 18 apiece. So really doing his part as the engine of this roster.
Yeah, absolutely. They work really well together. Gababy really involved in the recruitment process as well, getting these 2 players to join this new Syracuse-looking roster. And when you have the offensive prowess of Tiz and Lesser, and then you combine that with Gababy's mind and able to work together, that's where this team can really blow up well.
100%. These guys have known each other for a really long time. Ever since high school, they've been friends online, but they haven't started playing Rocket League since the early summer. So they're still kind of finding their own and understanding how they work as a team. But when it comes to overcoming challenges on and off the field, I guess, they do a great job. They've known each other for so long, and they've got that chemistry built in. It's a good group of guys.
Absolutely, yeah. They're going to look to really utilize that chemistry here tonight. They're going to have to play together, play tough, but I think it's a good chance for them to do that.
And they've got to get through the Kansas Jayhawks, a team that comes in of really similar caliber to Syracuse. The PEC is all over the place in terms of standings. We've got the upper echelon folks in Baylor, in Michigan State, in Boise State, and then the folks kind of trailing behind like Minnesota and Utah. But as you can see, Kansas 4-3, Syracuse 4-3. It's going to be an interesting matchup. Syracuse had one of the most difficult strength of schedules early on in the year, falling to Baylor, Boise, and Michigan State. And it was really indicative of the Orange play style. They went on to play Minnesota and Ohio State and Nebraska, beat all 3 of those teams. So they kind of lose to the top dogs, but easily beat the bottom teams. Kansas is right there in the heart of the PEC.
Yeah, and another thing we talked about with Syracuse's offense is they kind of transitioned their mindset coming into these matchups. When they took on those higher opponents, they dropped back a little bit, played a bit defensive, recognized that might not be the answer to how they're going to win these games, so then shifted that mentality to look to boost Starve a little bit more, be a bit more aggressive on the offensive end, and that's paid dividends taking care of business against those weaker opponents.
You're absolutely right. Early on in the year, Syracuse opted for a much more defensive play style against those top teams, and I think it's why a lot of the Syracuse Orange players like Gababy and Lesser and Tiz, all 3 of them, said if we were to play those top caliber teams again, it would be a different story. Their play style has shifted, like you said, to a more offensively minded scheme. But Kansas also really, really aggressive.
Yeah, Kansas, a super aggressive team. The biggest thing to note is their demos. They are actually ranked second in the PEC in that department. They have 99 heading into this matchup, so we could hit the triple-digit mark here tonight, and they're probably going to be looking for that.
Absolutely. We will see at least one. The Jayhawks, they do not hold back. And it's something that I've noticed. I mean, we've been covering this team all season, and it seems that the best of the best are aggressive. That offensive, pressure-heavy play style, it really works. Syracuse, when they played Boise State earlier on in the year, I can't tell you how much smoke was on the field. So many demos, and it really paid off. So I like that Syracuse is going with this more aggressive play style, but Kansas, it seems they've already been on this bandwagon.
Yeah, when you get those demos, it opens up the opportunity to have a numbers advantage. You can't control your respawn now with the new update. You can see where you're going to spawn in, gives you a bit of an advantage as a defender, but you're still able to capitalize a lot quicker with 3 cars in the field rather than 2.
Something else I want to talk about is we're at this point in the season, it's the very end of the fall session of the PEC. Every team after today will have played each other once, gotten film, gotten used to things. After this game, there's a big hiatus, and then we head into spring play with maybe some tournaments sprinkled throughout like Fall Stars and stuff like that. But as a player, when you finish this chunk of play, what goes through your mind? How do you head into a break and then come out of it in the spring?
Well, you have a lot of opportunities. You played half the season. You've seen every team, like you said, and that allows for you to go back, look at the VODs, see what worked, what didn't. Like we talked about, that defensive shift to more aggression. That could be something they experiment with in the offseason. They have time to work on those things so that when they return in the spring, they can look to make the statement like they said they were going to and take on those top teams.
And I think that's really going to start with Kamikaze and with Flow State, the 2 Syracuse coaches. Kamikaze, a more game-oriented coach, kind of dictating what is happening on the field from a strategic perspective, and then Flow State takes a bit of a backseat, more in the ear of these players, grounding them mentally, making sure they don't make any silly mistakes. And does review kind of starts with that, with those coaches?
Yeah, absolutely. You are able to get a new perspective. Of course, players are going to have their own opinion on those and how they played, how they work together. But when you have a coach to look at it from an objective scene and be able to say, hey, I think this area worked really well. We're really successful in the air. We got to look to that a little bit more. And then you're able to work on the mental side too. You recognize maybe how you react when you're in a deficit. That way you can approach it differently, give the guys some strategies to be able to perform and recover in case they drop early.
And Flow State is so good at that. He was the former Rocket League coach for Northeastern, did a lot of similar work in that mental space, but he's also worked with some of the top-ranked tennis juniors in America to ground them. Tennis is such an individual game, and Rocket League, you've got 2 other teammates, but only 2. There's not a huge crutch.
Yeah, it's definitely a sport. Like you said, tennis, you're pretty much on an island, especially in singles. You don't have anyone to work with, so you really got to find that mental fortitude within.
You would know.
I would. As a tennis player. But
there you go.
For Rocket League as well, like you said, just 2 teammates, and when you're in such a high-action, fast-paced game where you don't even have time to rest on whether or not something's going right or wrong, you have to be able to recover quickly, and those tools from Flow State will help them do that.
So we fly over the beautiful Champs Field, dozens of eggs, getting ready for this amazing performance. Really exciting stuff. Syracuse coming in again 4-3 on a 2-game streak in the win column. Kansas, same record, same streak. Both teams looking to do the same, put themselves even further above 500 as we head into the spring session. In terms of Fall Stars, which of these 3 Syracuse players do you think is most likely to get a bid?
Well, there's a big highlight from Lester. Like you said, slow start to the fall, but then really recovered. He's coming off a series where he had 7 goals in just 3 games. I mean, takes some serious ability, and if he can continue that streak, I think he's going to get the quick nod.
Understood. I've got to go with Gababy here. I mean, 25 goals. Every player on this team has 25 goals at this point. He's the assist leader by almost double digits, the goals leader by 2. I mean, he's doing everything, and he's doing it well. He understands this game so well, and he knows these guys. He knows how they play. He knows that Lesser is a more ball-dominant guy. Tiz is kind of a glue player, does it all similar to Gababy, but the way that Gabe can just be dominant, and he's shown that dominance all year. I've got him for my Fall Stars bid. But Tiz, I want to point out, when we were talking to the director of Esports, Joey Grisiak, before the year, he kind of talked about Tiz as a glue guy. And he is a glue guy, but a lot of times when you hear that, it's like, okay, they do the dirty work. They kind of do the stuff that no one wants to do. They're, filling the gaps. But he has been studly this year. Really fantastic.
Yeah, and when you have a glue guy, like you said, that can also perform in the statistical category, able to contribute on his own, that's huge. If you think back to the older esports days with Rocket League, a player that comes to mind is someone like Rizzo. He was the glue guy for an org like G2 Esports, and he was also able to put on some of the best goals you see in the competitions they played in. So Tiz very representative of someone that is capable of doing that, and that's such an advantage for the Orange.
Absolutely. A multifaceted squad, and Syracuse has benefited off of that all year. It's what makes your team great. You can't have three-ball dominant guys. Even in conventional sports, if you have three players that play the same, it's just not going to work.
Hey, look, you saw that with the Brooklyn Nets in 2021. I mean,
Sure.
They got close to being successful,
right.
but ultimately it had to come down to which team worked best, and Brooklyn wasn't able to put it together. So you need that chemistry and the ability to work off of each other, which I think we see here with Syracuse.
I'm a Knicks fan. But I would, if that team with Durant, Harden, who else was there? Blake
Irving.
Griffin?
Blake Griffin,
Kyrie.
LaMarcus Aldridge.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been so awesome. You a Knicks fan?
I'm not, no.
Okay.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. I respect that. I respect that. And Giannis MVP incoming?
Oh, easily.
Easily.
If they can turn it in. If the record shows, they'll get it.
Well, we'll see what happens in the NBA, but for now, looks like, oh no, Gababy says otherwise. He's going to go ahead and pause the game. Come on, Gababy, ruining everything. All right, so we'll, I guess, take a little more time here, getting back before we resume the game. I want to talk about Tiz and Lesser, the two newcomers on this team. When you get new guys coming in, you don't really know what to expect. Are they going to buy into the program immediately? Are they going to take some time to adjusting? Well, as of recent, Tiz and Lesser have both been logging over 6 hours every single day. That caps out to over 30 hours a week. It's just unbelievable, the discipline that these guys have. And it's been paying off. As we said, their play has been getting exponentially better as the year's gone on.
Yeah, 100%. And when you think about like coming into the Student Science Center, super accessible here at Syracuse University, I've come in a few times, just popped my head, and I see those guys constantly playing. So it's really impressive they continue to work.
Looks like we've got all things ready to go. Opportunity to win 3 straight. Syracuse and Kansas. A loss will drop either team back to 500. And the Orange making do early. Tiz to Lesser. Orange on the board just 9 seconds in.
And that's just phenomenal aggression right off the bat from Syracuse. Lesser, great touch off the wall, able to win that 50, and then just beautiful follow-up there by Tiz, and Lesser able to get the little tap in to get the credit.
Striking early, it's a huge advantage for any team, and we'll get right back to the face-off, the second one of the day. Tiz, Orange with another win. Gababy with no boost, tries to fake out Swift, but he's all over it. Lesser with the demo. Tiz, shot on net, but it's just bopped away by the Kansas defense. Lesser, a shot on net. Meave with the stuff. Kansas having to play from behind, both on the scoreboard and with possession, but they're doing a good job so far.
Beautiful high ball there as well from Syracuse, and it's just constantly forcing Kansas to stay out of rotation. They're fighting to get these corner boosts, and they're just not able to get it out of their half yet.
Yeah, Syracuse has had a decent amount of boost in almost every possession, and you can see that circle as Meave goes bar down to notch this thing up 1-1.
That's a nasty angle. I mean, my goodness. Able to get the sharpest angle, because there was good coverage in the net as well, but put it at just the right height to get it past. I believe that was Tiz trying to get the touch there.
Just kind of caught Syracuse out of position. They quickly transitioned. That was so fast, defense to offense from the Jayhawks. Solid work. It's a face-off. Kind of goes towards Kansas, but no boost. It's going to be tough to make a play. Tiz sends it to the boards, and an extra touch will put it to the midfield where Lesser can't meet Meave. He gets it to Gababy, and with a full tank, just overshoots the aerial. He'll try to make do work of it. Alpaca's got it. The flip reset does nothing. A midair 50 launches the ball into the Jayhawks territory. It's Syracuse in orange and Kansas in blue today.
Syracuse just consistently, when they get that ball across midfield, you see all three of them flying across the field. None of them thinking about staying back defensively.
It's aggressive play, but to a degree, it could kind of be seen as a lack of discipline. You know, you want to be able to rotate effectively and trust one of your guys to make a play and not need all three. As Lesser breaks up a shot on net from Swift. And the redirect off the backboard, it's still anyone's ball. Lesser clears it to the neutral zone.
A good rotation there, able to jump on it was Lesser, and like you said, the discipline, it all comes down to whether or not they can get the right rotations down, as we saw the 100 demo there by Kansas, so they're officially in the triple-digit marks in that category.
One of just 2 teams in the PEC to hit triple-digit demos, the other being Boise State, who has come out with an aggressive play style all year. It's what earned them the 2024-2025 PEC championship in Rocket League, and they're looking to go back-to-back in a whole nother way. 1-1 ball game here as we approach the 2-minute 50-second mark. It's been a back-and-forth affair early on. 2 early goals, but since then, just defense, 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 and rotations from both teams. I know Syracuse came into this one pretty confident, but Kansas has done a very good job at sort of diffusing the Syracuse aggression.
Yeah, Syracuse unable to really find the connection pass so far. They're getting the first man beat, but then when it comes to the pass to set up the shot, the connection's not there just yet. Lesser, the main man, really trying to get that first shot on goal. That's a beautiful pass set up over to Gababy, but unable to get it on the target.
Tiz flying high, beats one, but not two. Alpaca's there to make the stuff off the sidewall. Now it's up to Swift, who gets it over Lesser, but not Gababy. A full tank and some smart play gets that safely to the corner. Now it's off the sidewall, a 1v1 between him and Swift. Lesser trailing to the center. Centering pass, Lesser's got it! Top left. So beautiful passing from the Orange offense, regains the lead.
Yeah, talk about that chemistry. Gababy able to get Swift out of position there, and Lesser just sitting far post, said, hey, wide open, get it over here, easy goal, and that's all it was, just a nice tap in from Lesser.
Such good rotations and really good awareness from the facilitator to Gababy. To Lesser, excuse me. 2-1 game as we hit the 2-minute mark. Syracuse up once more. Lesser applying some pressure. Syracuse wanting to maintain this lead. Their original 1-0 lead lasted really not very long at all, so I'm sure they'd like to extend that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just got to keep the pressure on Kansas as well. When Kansas had time to react a little bit after that first goal, that's when they bounced back well. So they can keep the ball in play for a little bit over, minute-ish, then they're going to be able to really increase the pressure. But my goodness, cheeky solo goal there for Meave. Able to just do the nice little flick behind Lesser, and Lesser with just no boost. Had to do a 50-50 guess on which way he's going, and Meave picked the right way.
That just shows how important boost is. I mean, especially if you're on defense and you don't have any, you've got to just guess. There's really nothing else you can do, and he guessed wrong. Now we're all knotted up 2-2. When Syracuse gives an answer, Kansas responds almost immediately.
Yeah, Syracuse still on the front foot in terms of aggression, but like you said, the Jayhawks not resting on their laurels, able to bounce back both times, and now time is becoming of the essence. They don't want to see an overtime and golden goal pressure situation for Syracuse.
Here's a shot just above the backboard, and Gababy puts it to the sidewall. Tiz redirects towards the midfield, and Meave, here's a shot on net. Lesser flies back and saves it. 2-2 as we hit the minute mark. There's a centering pass. Meave stuffs it through a sea of orange. Kansas earned their first lead of the day.
And that's all a credit to Alpaca. That 50 and then bouncing off the wall and getting it center right on top of Meave's car, who then gets the 50-50 win right on the goal line. That is an impressive goal.
3-2 Jayhawks lead, a minute 4 to play. Here's the 6th face-off of game 1. Again, a best of 5 series, so first team to 3 wins will take this one home. 1 minute to go. Jayhawks lead. Lesser misses the full tank, but is still able to stall this ball in the air. 50 seconds to go. That one is dropped. Meave misses, but Alpaca gets it off the side. Swift tries to redirect. It's a 50-50, and Lesser pops it to the corner. Swift with a full tank, able to make something happen, but Meave stalls it in the ceiling.
And Kansas definitely looking to just keep it on the half, keep it high, burn as much clock as possible with this 1-goal lead.
A pinch gets it towards Gababy, but Meave is there to push it back into Orange territory as we hit 30 seconds remaining. There's a shot on net. Gababy redirects, but Meave makes the save. Drop down for the second chance. No, off the crossbar. Orange with a plethora of opportunities, but the Jayhawks just clamping it down. Back to the mid zone with 10 seconds to go. Lesser on the sidewall. Syracuse needs a goal to take this. Meave, double tap, no, can't get it. 3 seconds to go, stuck in Orange territory. Tiz moving it towards the midfield. Lesser, pass to Gababy. Off the backboard, Tiz, shot available, off the crossbar. Lesser keeps it up. God, Syracuse, so many chances here. Gababy off the side, clock triple zeros. As soon as it hits, this game is done. But if the Orange score, we're going to overtime. Meave grounds it. Kansas can breathe easy after a tight Game 1 win.
That's an impressive battle back from the Jayhawks. Syracuse had the opportunities at the end, like you said, so many chances. You had Lesser, who just got rejected by Meave, and then Tiz a few seconds later had the shot just a little high, would have gone off the crossbar even if Meave didn't get a car on it. So Syracuse feel like they kind of left that one out there.
Yeah, I would have liked to see a lot better rotations from the Orange. They were aggressive, but not communicative, and you need both to coexist if you want to play that aggressive, all hands on deck play style. And this one was back and forth the whole way through. No team led by more than 1 goal, and the leads for each team respectively were very short. So really good job from both teams to diffuse each other's offenses. At the end of the day, though, this one's going to go to Kansas 3-2.
Yeah, super short-lived leads for Syracuse. They got the start that they wanted. They had to come out early, prove that they're an aggressive unit, but then Kansas able to bounce back, and the biggest credit was just their passing ability in the front third. Syracuse did find that connection from Gababy to Lesser, but other than that, there was a really big disconnect on the offensive end. Kansas, though, able to find a couple connections, and that was the difference maker there.
Two people who were really connected for the Jayhawks, it was Alpaca and Meave. Meave with 3 goals in the first game, all of which came from the hood of Alpaca, assisted all 3 of them. So those two were gelling really nicely in game 1. I'll be curious to see how they do in game 2.
Yeah, it's going to be all interesting as we are underway for game 2.
Kansas with a 1-0 series lead. Again, best of 5, so first to 3 will win the series and improve to 5-3. Both these teams coming in with the same 4-3 record, both on a 2-game streak, looking to make it 3. So some decent stakes as we head to the final series of the fall season. We'll head to the spring season after December break, but that's in the future. Right now we've got game 2. 30 seconds in, no goals scored, a lot of time spent in the neutral zone. Tiz fires one to the net, but Meave makes the save. Follow-up opportunity, no good. Here's Gababy off the backboard, gets the flip, but Swift is there swiftly. Tiz shot on net, off top. Man, that's happened a ton for Syracuse. Second chance, no, Meave's there. Wow, locked down for the Jayhawks.
Phenomenal defense by Kansas, and Syracuse once again just so close. Tiz a couple of post hits in his last few shot attempts, and that's been the difference in this tightly contested matchup.
Lesser flying high, it's a 1v1. Gababy's got the boost to do it, but Meave's there again. Tiz drops it down. No good on the double tap. Here's the follow-up, off the crossbar again. Alpaca tries to get it out, doesn't have the boost to do it, but Gababy does it for them. Tiz centering pass to Lesser, shot on net. No, Meave's there again. God, lockdown defense. Gababy, he's flying, that one's too high. Another save from Kansas. Syracuse can't buy a goal with all the money in the pot.
You've got to be kidding me. I mean, there's so many beautiful chances. The connections are there, just the shot has been defended so well for Kansas. They're continuing that impressive goal line stand that they've done the entire series so far.
And Syracuse is applying great pressure. Like you said, it's a lot more organized. Everyone's getting their chance at shooting. But great defense beats good offense. That's just how it is. Here's Gababy off the side, looking for Tiz, but it's intercepted midair by Meave. He's been studly all game on defense. Swift launches this one upfield. Kansas looking for their first or maybe second offensive opportunity. Centering pass broken up in time, and that's just not what Kansas needs to see. Syracuse gets on board. A big save, defense to offense immediately.
Yeah, who would have thought that the goal scorer for Syracuse in game 2 would be Alpaca? That is a brutal redirect for Kansas, and good defensive job by Syracuse. They able to get it out quickly, but Kansas did all the right things, and then just an unlucky break there to go down 1-0.
Syracuse leads with 2:50 to go in game 2. Kansas immediately trying to respond. We saw the Jayhawks answer very fast after the Orange's first goal in game 1. See if they do the same here. Gababy flying high, shot on net. Oh, off the top and the post, but just can't quite find it. Seems like the goal has a lid on it today for the Orange. Alpaca, no boost. Gababy launches it downfield, and Swift grounds. Here's Tiz and Meave, 50-50, goes in favor of the Orange. Gababy chasing Swift for the demo, flying high, it's Lesser. Shot on net, stuffed by Swift, and that one's bounced to the sidewall. Lesser doesn't retain, leaves it for Gababy, who just picked up a full tank. Off the ceiling, Meave with a big hit, and Lesser will drop this up. And Gababy unable to redirect, but Lesser can't do the job. Almost, just wide left.
Syracuse breaking out some fakes. That was a good move by Gababy to let that go, and Lesser just a little too tight on the left post, unable to connect there, but they're doing all the little things right. They're continuing to grab the back boosts for Kansas, and constantly under half a tank are the Jayhawks, so Syracuse just continuously sitting on the offensive third.
A much more defensively minded game here in game 2. 1-0 Orange lead. They've held this since I believe it was the 4-minute mark of this one. Swift pops to the corner. 90 seconds to play here in game 2. Orange 1-0 lead. That one's flying high. Alpaca knocks it higher. It's just Gababy in net, and he's able to make the play.
What a triple
Oh my
demo.
goodness.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, the Jayhawks gone, and the Orange take advantage. Wow, look at that. Let's see. Holy.
When you think of a triple in a video game, you don't think of Rocket League, but Lesser trying to put on for the group. My goodness, able to just absolutely decimate the Jayhawks in an open net, able to slot that one away.
3v0 for a moment, that was. And that second goal, it's a big insurance one for Syracuse as we creep up on 1:10 to play in game 2. Baby to the side. He's got Tiz in the midfield, and he fakes that one. And Tiz will come up and make the touch. Baby retreats back, just tries to get in the way of the Jayhawks offense. And that he does. A minute to go. Syracuse looking to just kind of drown out some clock at this point in the game.
Yeah, just absolutely work it down. Under a minute left. You don't really need to do anything risky. You're just going to play deep balls. You can let Kansas hold possession, but you just want to make sure it stays on the offensive side for the Orange.
Meave, a couple flip resets on the defensive end. Doesn't really advance the ball very much. Alpaca's got it in the corner, drops it down. Swift now moving to the side, but it's intercepted by the Orange defense. Back in the midfield, Kababy flying high. A little bit of boost off the backboard. No, Meave intercepts. Lesser, no boost. Opportunity to get a full tank, but he misses. Just 3 boosts to play with. Can't do anything. Tiz now with the redirect up top, and Meave knocks it to the side. 15 seconds to play, 2-goal deficit. It's a goal about every 7 seconds. It's looking unlikely for the Jayhawks here.
Yeah, Syracuse just continuing to keep it in the corner and continuing to take corner boosts when available, and that just allows the Jayhawks to have to get desperate. Good job by Tiz, his constant pressure, and with 3 Syracuse on the offensive side, they're going to close that one out. A nice shutout for the Orange as they tie the series up.
A necessary win for Syracuse, going down 0-2 there. That's a huge wall to climb, and they just did a great job. Tiz at the top of the leaderboard with 2 goals, but also those demos that we saw before that second goal were absolutely crucial.
Yeah, 2 goals that were very arguably unorthodox. You saw a good clearance that turned off to a redirect into an open net goal to open up the scoring in this game. And then the triple demo is something you almost never see in Rocket League. And, well, Lesser and the Orange able to capitalize on that opportunity. That's what you have to do. I mean, this game is clearly going to be a super competitive series. And when it comes to these super marginal opportunities, you have to capitalize when they present themselves.
15 shots on net from Syracuse, and Kansas saved a lot of them. Early on, Syracuse was getting shot after shot. There was that possession around the 3:30 mark where it was at least 5 or 6 shots on the Kansas goal, and none of them were able to fall. So I will give credit to the Jayhawks there. This 2-0 loss, it could have looked more like 4 or 5-0.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, if you look at all the opportunities that the Orange had early on, it could have easily, like you said, been up there in the scoring totals, but Kansas did what they could and really held strong well with little to no resources at their disposal, and still able to walk away with the victory were Syracuse.
A 1-1 tied series now. So this one will not take it, whoever wins this game, but the 2-1 lead is huge. I mean, it's like a best-of-7 win in Game 5. You know, you're 1 win away from taking this best-of-5 series as we head into Game 3 here.
Hey, you call it the swing game. We are underway for Game number 3 as this is an opportunity for both teams to officially mark their pressure. Gababy in the Orange offense initially going to reset it to the corner. Tiz back there going to reset with some boost, but Swift on the pressure. And Alpaca's there on the follow open net, and he's able to slot it just past Gababy. And Kansas now to open up the scoring in Game 3.
That's right. That's the first time Kansas has scored the first goal across these 3 games. And it came in just 14 seconds. It's some good ball movement. Syracuse just not quite locked in on the defensive rotations there, and the Jayhawks took full advantage.
Yeah, the Orange were looking to reset the possession, but instead the Kansas Jayhawks just jumped on that chance to get the ball on an offensive spot. Now ball going to be bounced up in the middle. Alpaca sends it high. Lesser there for the clear. Going to continue to work off the wall until Swift meets him on the wall. Now Gababy in the middle. Going to try a little dribble play, set it up middle. Meave, none of that. And it's back and forth so far in game number 3. 1-0, Jayhawks lead. Syracuse increasing their pressure. Meave now up top, going to be tried and met by Gababy. Nice flip reset, try to go under, but will be rejected. Now it's Tiz and Lesser, both high pressure, going to go off the sidewall. Swift there gets rid of that one, and Syracuse a little slow offensively here in Game 3.
Yeah, not a ton of shots on net. Kansas has been doing well, but it's just harder for them to penetrate that neutral zone. They haven't spent a lot of time in the crease or their third much at all. Here's a shot on net from Lesser. That one's going to fall wide open net. No one was there.
Yeah, it seemed to be a bit of a mishandling of the ball in the middle. I think it was Meave that was supposed to get the clearance back over to Alpaca, but that time just unable to get contact on the ball. Lesser able to slot that one away and now knotted up 1-1 in game number 3, and that's the answer Syracuse needs. They're taking those opportunities when they need it. And now just under 4 minutes left in this super important game number 3 as Syracuse look to continue the momentum. Lesser going to meet this one in the middle. Redirection over to Gababy. Nice little 1-2. Now look at it. Tiz. It's going all around the Orange, trying to set up a shot. No doing there. Tiz tried to go solo. Going to be cleared away by Swift. And now it's Gababy. Very scary spot is how they gave up their first goal in game 3, but able to clear it now is Lesser. keeps it middle. Meave and Tiz fighting for that one. Advantage Orange as Swift meets it up top. And just good job here by Orange, kind of resetting themselves after that initial start.
Yeah, it's tough to shake that off, especially when it happens so early in the game. You know, that kind of sets the tone, and it's important to shake it off as soon as you can, and that they did. This has spent a lot of time in the middle, not really that much time spent in the Orange's zone. So they've done a good job diffusing this defensively, but what they need to do is take that good defense and flip it on offense, get some more goals on board.
Just under 180 seconds left in Game 3, still tied 1-all. We mentioned flow state in the pregame and how he helps the mental side. That's probably showing through here in game number 3. Syracuse was able to redeem themselves quite quickly. Now it's Kansas on the offensive front. Good clearance by Gababy, met it in the middle. This gives Tiz a chance to carry it into the offensive third, one-on-one against Meave, and then in the middle with Lesser, but good save there by the Jayhawks. They continue to show their defensive prowess on the goal line.
When Meave came into game 2 with all 3 Kansas goals from game 1, I expected to see more of that, but he has shown that he is a fantastic two-way player. He's able to rotate and just stretch his car so far to make these saves, and there's another one there from the hood of Tiz.
Meave just absolutely everywhere. This time again, he's in a contest with Gababy. Now it's Tiz, good opportunity here, slots in middle, but it's going to be Swift that capitalizes on the 50-50. Alpaca off the back wall. This is a good chance for Kansas. Tries to go off, and a beautiful read off of Lesser's car gives the Jayhawks the lead with just over 2 minutes left in game 3.
And that's just great patience from Swift. You know, you direct your car in the right direction. You're not trying to follow the ball with your boost, but you hold off the boost for a little bit. You think about where this ball's going to go, not where it is already. Really good patience, and it paid off.
Yeah, fantastic positioning by Kansas, and that means they hold the lead in this crucial game 3. Syracuse going to have to answer quickly. They've done it before in the series already, as all Orange are going to be on the offensive third. As Tiz met with Swift in the corner. Now Kansas trying to switch to the attack. Flicked up by Meave. Double commit here by Syracuse, but Lesser able to get the clearance initially. Swift now working. Gets it to the corner, but clearance by Gababy. Orange a bit starved on the boost. Lesser comes from behind. Good demo there. Advantage Orange. Open net. Lesser tried to get the sharp angle, but no good. Not enough power, and a good opportunity goes awry for Syracuse.
They had the positioning, but they didn't have the boost. It is such a hot commodity, and when you don't have it, it's just so hard to make plays.
Meave again, the defensive presence being felt for the Orange. And Tiz now in a 1-on-2 situation, able to come back is Gababy. So good recovery there by Syracuse, but Meave, definitely the star of game number 3, has shut down the Orange on so many opportunities. And now just 60 seconds remaining. Time is of the essence for Syracuse.
If they drop this game, it's hard because your back is kind of against a wall. There's no more cushion. You can't afford to lose any more games. Syracuse opportunity here.
Yeah, open net, good opportunity. Tiz goes for the double and gets it! And that is great awareness by Tiz. Left the ball, let Gababy follow it through. And that is how you knot up the game with just 44 seconds left.
It's a selfless play, but it's absolutely the correct one to make. Freed up the net completely for Gababy. So smart on Tiz's part.
Yeah, great awareness. The ball had enough speed where Gababy could get on top of it. And now just 2-all. It is crunch time here in game number 3. Syracuse trying to get advantage in the series. Like you said, it's basically sudden death after this game because it goes to winner, or next game wins for the winner of this game. So 2-1 series advantage, so crucial. Just 30 seconds now. Here we could go over overtime, which the rules are golden goal. So it could be constant pressure. Syracuse not looking to let that happen though, as they keep it on Kansas's side. Swift, nice clearance. Syracuse staying high in pressure. Swift trying to go over the top of Lesser. Lesser, good meet in the middle. Able to stay with it, gets another touch, now finds Tiz middle, trying to go up and off the wall. Peck is there to meet it. Not a great clear, but able to get it past everyone. And now Kansas, last opportunity, 1 second left in the game. Touched off by Swift, trying to clear it was Syracuse, and we are headed to overtime in game 3.
Next goal wins. A lot of times in these overtime scenarios, you see teams play way more defensive. You don't want to give up anything, so we might see a fairly long overtime here with a ton of saves. Generally, that's how these overtimes tend to go, at least for Syracuse.
Yeah, it's usually either a really quick kickoff goal or, like you said, those drawn-out goal games. It could be, 4-all, but then this 1-goal lead really changes the defensive mindset. It's a good clearance here, and Lesser gets another couple of demos, opens up the net for Syracuse, but unable to convert. The ball is a little too tight to the wall for Tiz. Kansas able to recover. Now trying to keep it just 30 seconds into overtime. It's been all Syracuse so far. in the overtime golden goal situation, but Alpaca met by 2 Orange, tried to get it between the two. Now a shot by Swift, saved by Tiz, and Orange holding strong in the defensive end.
Yeah, this is some good two-sided play from Syracuse. We saw Lesser getting involved with the demos early on and bringing a guy like Lesser to do that. I mean, it takes one defender outside of the play, so it's a little more aggressive, but it almost paid off for Syracuse, and I like the aggressive play style in overtime when it's a little less expected.
And it's forcing the Jayhawks to be not only hyper-aware of the positioning of the ball, but also where the other Orange are. Is an open chance. Gababy left it off for, I think that was Lesser, or it's Tiz on the shot, but just wide. Another opportunity gone awry, and Kansas now able to get back in their defensive stance. Orange, though, keeping it on the offensive third. Sharp angle by Lesser, tried to slot it in, but Kansas meets it again. Good 50 win by Gababy. Open net, no! Will be stopped once again. And the Orange just keeping it a minute and a half deep into overtime now. And like we said, it's been all Syracuse. The pressure's there, but that can also come back to bite them if they overextend a little bit in overtime.
The Orange are smothering. They have kept it in the Jayhawks' end for so long as Lesser rises and drops it down. There's the walk-off goal.
That's just a beautiful finish. That constant pressure up the high wall. Tiz gets a bump there. You send Gababy and meets him and hits him actually off of the upside down save attempt by Alpaca. And Syracuse showing how physicality can have such an impact in these matchups.
You could see the players there. You saw Tiz brush his hair out of his face. Kind of a sigh of relief almost for taking that one. But 2 out of those 3 Syracuse goals were only goals because of the off man, the guy who wasn't scoring it. We saw Tiz demo one defender, and that allowed Gababy to score. And then on that final goal, there was another bump in net, and that allowed that one to score. We'll see it again right here.
It's also just great recovery by Syracuse overall. They went down early for the first time in the series, able to bounce back, and then able to get the answer so late in the game. Like we said, we talked about that physicality. Tiz double demo there to tie the game for overtime. And then once again, the physicality and the bumps is what turns that generating offense for the Orange and able to take this huge Game 3, now leading the series 2-1. How important is that for the Orange now heading into Game 4?
It's absolutely massive. You have a cushion, and the Jayhawks don't. There is nothing that there's no mistakes that Kansas can make, because if they drop a game, that's done. But Syracuse can breathe a little. They can try some things. They can reevaluate. They can apply some things to Game 4, and if it doesn't work, well, they've still got another opportunity. This is a massive spot for Syracuse to be in. It's very advantageous.
And look, the other thing is these games are only 5 minutes long. It's not like it's a game where, it runs on 20 minutes. You have time to kind of recover yourself. You lose, you're back in. We're kicking off in 3 seconds. You got to be able to bounce back, and Jayhawks now backs against the wall. Going to have to find an answer as the Orange are looking to close out the series with a 3-1 victory here. But Kansas, good opportunity right off the bat. Swift just a little late to the open net, and it will stay 0-0 here just 10 seconds into the game. Syracuse, good play here to recover. Tiz getting it demoed. Lesser there on the follow, goes off the wall. Maybe looking for an insane off-the-wall read. Isn't going to get there, but Lesser, good follow on the redirect. And Syracuse continuing just to keep it on the side of the Jayhawks. Jayhawks all series have really struggled to break out of their defensive half.
Yeah, the Orange are picking this thing up right where they left off. We saw in overtime constant aggression, bringing all the guys, not to attack the ball, but to hit other Jayhawks and free up the net. And that's what we've seen early on in just this first minute of play. I think Syracuse is starting to figure out what works against this Kansas team.
Alpaca, some impressive saves there to keep it alive, but a beautiful off-the-ceiling shot by Gababy opens the scoring for the Orange, and now it's a good advantage for Syracuse. 1-0 here in Game 4.
What an angle! Not only did he come off the ceiling, but he had to drop it into a corner. Such a small margin of error. He capitalized.
It was a beautiful calculation in such short time, and Syracuse now up ahead, and they could just play aggressive, try and keep it in the half. They don't have to do anything else if they don't want to, but we know the Orange are going to continue to play their style, which is up in your face. Kansas trying to find an answer. Gababy meets that one in the middle. And now Swift with it. No boost, so it's going to have to go to a teammate instead. It's Tiz and Gababy on the double commit. Lesser gets the demo on the would-be shooter Meave. And Syracuse survives an offensive pressure. Alpaca beats one off the wall. Open net. Is anyone there? No! Good clearance by Tiz. And now it's Lesser and Syracuse heading the other way. 3:30 to go in game number 4. 2-1 the series in favor of Syracuse. Gababy pops this one into the corner. Alpaca tried to get it. Good read by Gababy to keep it alive. Now Tiz over to Lesser. Lesser looked for the shot, instead leaves it for Gababy. Tried to rip it top corner, no good. Syracuse still firing away, still keeping on the pressure. Gababy, nice pop in the middle, trying to clear. It was Meave, and a good touch there off the redirect, able to send that one awry.
I know Syracuse has been in the advantage a lot in terms of time of possession, but you got to credit Kansas just for their lockdown defense. It's only a one-goal game. It seems like Syracuse has been on the offensive the entire game, but Kansas has shut them down well.
The shot margin feels like 20 across all 4 games, but the margin of goals is just 2 total, or 1 total, sorry. So it's been really impressive for the Kansas defense as Syracuse now finally having to retreat to the defensive side. A good shot there. Meave tried to get the redirect. Instead, it'll be cleared away by Lesser. Tiz now working in the corner, 1-on-1 against Meave. First initial touch. Lesser went for the demo again. Meave, good wherewithal to jump over the initial attempt. Now with no boost, tried to reset it to Swift. Swift caught out of position and popped over the top. Was Lesser, but off target. And what would have been a 2-0 lead is now stood at 1.
Swift is lucky that that shot didn't fall. It was just wide left, and the net was wide open.
Tiz now sitting on the back wall. Now Lesser off of the wall. He's been everywhere this game, and so has the rest of the Orange. Lesser, a little bit of an air dribble. He's still got 92 boost, trying to work off of it. Gets the bump. Meave, good meet there, and able to redirect his car to keep it off of the goal line and keep it away for any potential shots. Tiz looking to Gababy. Nice slow shot. Good save by Meave again. And Lesser trying to follow it up. Tiz back to Lesser, attempted, no good. And Meave, how many times are we going to say it tonight? Beautiful defense by the Jayhawks.
It's why this game is as close as it is. Meave and the rest, but mostly Meave. I mean, he's everywhere.
Now Meave going back to reset. Alpaca's got boost. Lesser, another demo attempt. Won't happen. Alpaca's now got it up in the air. Trying to get the flip reset. Does get it. Baby control. Meave reads it off the wall. Baby back pass to Tiz, over to Lesser now, just under 90 seconds to go. Syracuse will win the series if they win this game, so just defensive cleanliness is all that's required now with the 1-goal lead. Alpaca with the clear. Swift tried to get a shot, but that's not going to be good enough for Syracuse's defense. And the Orange are continuing to survive.
Just about a minute to go, and this game looks exactly as it did when it started. Syracuse keeping it in Kansas's end, and the Jayhawks doing a good job not letting any goals in, but you've got to flip defense to offense, and that's where Kansas has struggled.
Kansas really going to have to create something magical here. A double commit by Kansas isn't going to start that. 45 seconds left. Syracuse just popping it up, and instead they're going to go for the dagger as Tiz slots it on the left side after a beautiful touch by Gababy.
That makes things exceptionally tough for Kansas. Not only are you down 2, but take a look at the clock. Just 42 seconds remaining. That is a time crunch.
Jayhawks need something off of kickoff. Any advantage would help. Instead, it goes to Lesser with full boost. Swift tries to meet him in the middle. Does win the 50. And now it'll stay on the Orange half. So good opportunity here for the Jayhawks to potentially get one quick. Just 30 seconds left. It's do or die time for Kansas. Meave with this one in the corner. Going to be met and pressured by Lesser. Tiz also on the contest. Doesn't get the touch. And it will be a great clearance by Gababy to keep that one away from the net. Gababy now forced to retreat, get back to boost. Swift, no boost on his end, and instead it'll be Gababy now looking over to Tiz. And 10 seconds left. Syracuse gonna combine for what could have been a beautiful goal. But who else but Meave to shut down the last attacking chance for Syracuse? My goodness, Meave, you had yourself a day, but it is the Orange who walk away with the series win, 3-1.
So Syracuse will move to 5-3 after this win. And that's great for the Orange. I mean, they've never been this many games above 500. They've been at 500 a couple times this season. But this is just a great motivator. We went into this one saying, all right, Kansas is about an equal team. And we saw that it was. All these games were so close, rock solid. No one really ran away with them. And Kansas did a great job. But Syracuse proving that they can hang with the teams, not just at the bottom, but the teams also in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely right. Like we said, 5-3 now on the season. We judge this as a litmus test where they're really going to shape up to the rest of the competition. They had some tough losses at the beginning of the year against those top 3 teams in Michigan State, Boise State, and Baylor. And now with this victory, it, like you said, the score wasn't indicative of how close it was, but also really in those games 3 and 4, that offense by Syracuse looked scary.
It did. It was all-out aggression. We saw demos. We saw goals. And what I loved was, we mentioned this a lot, but was the off-ball play. Getting in the way of your defenders, bumping, demoing, all of it. It's a risk, but it's high reward, and it paid off for Syracuse today.
Yeah, we didn't see that in the first 2 games, but then after that, games 3 and 4, that's their basic mentality. It was just get in the face of the Jayhawks. A lot of demos, Tiz with a double demo, Lester with a triple demo. I mean, I've never called or seen something like that in Rocket League, and that is what really gave them the opportunity and the advantage here tonight.
Syracuse will move to 5-3 in the final game of the fall season, whereas the Kansas Jayhawks drop to 500 at an even 3-3. Well, the next time you'll see us will be in the spring in terms of PEC play, but there might be some action going on in between with Fall Stars and some other events. Feel free to check out all the action at pec.edge.leagueos.gg. Our website, all the information will be on there. I know it's lengthy, but you can go back and listen to it again. You can stay updated all throughout there. But Syracuse walks out with a win, their 3rd consecutive for the first time this season. For Sean Kelly, our director of production, our entire esports production staff, and Simon Johnstone, I'm Rowan Mastrangelo. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.